Hi, and as far as whatever work we've been doing lately, it has been in the development of creating imagery for a poster. While all of you have now evolved concepts, that is, working out a concept, creating a metaphor, trying to identify all of it, what we will explore in today's video is try and see how those can be digitized. Several ways of image making have been used for you, but in our situation, what we've been trying to do is create something for Jamini Roy. Now, Jamini Roy's work is illustrative, so what we are going to do in our adaptation is to come up with a digital illustration that can be used for this purpose. So, let's take a look how that can happen. As part of how to design a poster, we have seen what visual concept we've used so far, which is when we look at Jamini Roy's paintings, you can notice the large eyes that are a feature of his illustrations. These are called floating eyes and they are a recurring motif in all of his artwork. So what I'm going to do is use this floating eye motif in my concept development. This is not gonna do. Print. Open A. Now that I have this, what I'm going to do is first import my sketch, which is this one. So when I go to my downloads, I have placed my composition poster over here, and just make it easier, I'm going to scale this up really big. So this is how I have placed it, and when I go to the layers, I can open the layer and change its opacity to something much lower so that I can just barely see. Now in the layers, this layer has so in the next layer I will call it vector. Now what I'm going to do is immediately view here. So I will show the rulers and I'm going to set up the 1/3 grid, which is roughly 1, and then we roughly have to, doesn't have to be exact as long as we have a rough measurement of how and where things are getting fitted. Now this is my major this one. Now what I have to do is try and get the background image done. So what I'm going to do is take the pen tool. This is a curvature tool. This is a pen tool. So I'm going to start here because this is where the nose is. And then I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to go till 1/3 and finish the curve. Now I'll go here. Again go to 1/3, finish the curve, join. Now I can just take this and edit the curve a little. I can touch this anchor point. Clean up the curvature slightly. Even here, I can just take this, clean up the curvature. Now, I'm going to fill this with black. So this is my first bit. Now at the bottom I have these boxes. I'm going to randomly place some boxes for the time being. So these are, I can increase the stroke thickness to a 7. I've copied and pasted these. Now I'm just going to align these a little. I am going to horizontally align them and distribute them. Then distribute these three. So now these can simply sit neatly up here. This one does not need a stroke. So I can make the stroke 0. Now that the basics are in place, how will it look with the eyes? Which means for the eyes I'll now create all of these are still in the old layer. So I'll transfer these to the new layer. Now all of them are in the second layer. This is the first level of vectors. I'm going to create another layer, call it eyes. So to create the eyes, first I have to draw an ellipse which is nice and big. Then I'll take a pen tool from here to here. 1. This is 1. Now the thickness of this line needs to change. So I'm going to make it 14. And again fill this up with white. Now that these things are there, I can adjust the eye a little bit. So this is my major poster. Now the basic composition in place, I can now start making changes to it. Now I have a rectangle which goes completely at the back. I can give this an orange color. Now with orange, some of the colors Jamini Roy typically uses is a dark blue. So what I can do is go for the colors again, which is up here, and select a dark blue. Now inside each of these, again, if we reference some of Jamini Roy's paintings, we have a blue and we have a yellow. So what if we can look at a color theme, or so out of all of these color palettes, all the tints and shades have been given. maybe I can make these red. So this main color can just be a red, and the outline should have to be white. While this is a major pattern, there are some details that need to be added, such as this line. The fact that Jamini Roy's paintings again don't have a stroke, so this will be the eyebrow. But over here, we can actually add a layer of depth because his paintings have a layer of depth. So I will copy this and I'll bring it here. And when I see the layers, there are two of these. That means the lower one can be moved out and lower, made a little bigger, and that can be used as now if I have to edit this color, and I'm gonna make it slightly darker. Now in terms of layers, this can obviously go lower. I'm gonna move this below the black one, so you can see that it sort of creates a shadow. This is very typical of Jamini Roy's paintings. Now that these details have come in, I can also add other smaller details that are very typical of him, which are these dots. And since his paintings usually have a bindi, we can stimulate a bindi with a dark red. Now that we have our basic artwork, let us see how it will look when all the layers are hidden. This is basically how the frame would look. We are obviously going to print this in a separate one, but in terms of artwork, we can consider this to be complete. Now, at this point of time, if I want to see a preview, this is how our poster's illustration part will look. As you can see, the base illustration for this poster has already been created. That means this illustration will now work as a template into which I can bring in text, I can bring in other information and complete the information that the poster needs. So this is how I would basically assemble the stage 1 of my poster.